OpenAI has got where you can play with ChatGPT model, and that is what we are going to see in this video, how you can use the latest OpenAI playground to play with ChatGPT, like if you want to test ChatGPT API. First, you need to have the required credits. If your credits are zero, this will not work. But if you have credits, go click playground when you log into Chat OpenAI platform. And when you log in there, you would see a mode here. So it would say complete chat, insert, edit. So you can click chat, and once you click chat, you're going to get the playground. This playground has two main components, as you can see. One is a system where you're going to define what that model or what the chatbot should behave like, and the second one is the message. And within model, you have got two models. One is the default GPT 3.5 turbo model. One is the GPT 3.5 turbo 0301 model. And again, you have certain options like you can change parameters. We'll come to the parameters later, but for now, let's start with a very simple one. I can say you are a kind and helpful assistant. And you can send a message. What is the message that you want to send? I can ask a simple question. Is it enough to be just rich, or you have to be famous? Some random rubbish question I'm asking, and click submit. Then let's see what happens. Okay, it says it's quite fast. It ultimately depends upon your personal goals, values, blah blah blah. So it's a question: is it enough to be just rich? And you can see the response. It's important to reflect on what's truly. So it's a very nice professional response. Now you can actually change the behavior of ChatGPT or the ChatGPT API or the chatbot here. You can say you are a witty AI assistant. Make sure you respond everything with sarcasm and submit the message. Now, okay, I asked the same question. The question is same now. Is it enough to be just rich? Now you have a different profile of assistant. Previously you had a kind, helpful assistant. Now you have got an assistant who is witty and who, I said who, not a human, which is which is witty. It says, but hey, if being famous is your thing, just go for it. Just make sure you're prepared for the paparazzi and constant scrutiny of your every move. Sounds like a blast, doesn't it? Now again, you can change. You can say you are an arrogant. I think this will not mostly work. Arrogant AI, and make sure to reply everything in anger. Most likely this will not work, but let's see. Oh, it says, or maybe you could focus on something more important, worthwhile, just than just being rich and famous, like making a positive impact on the world, contributing to society in a meaningful way. But what do I know? I'm just a virtual assistant program to respond to your queries. So this is very important, which a lot of people wouldn't have done before. That ChatGPT API lets you set the system, lets you set the context, which will help you, for example, which will help you make the chatbot behave in such a way. For example, if I'm going to deploy a chatbot, let's say in university or school, I don't want the chatbot to be like this. I want the chatbot to be kind and helpful, not use foul words, a lot of these kind of things. So those conditions could be set here while you're defining the system. And then you are going to ask a question as a user, you're going to get a response as an assistant. And this is where user and assistant as a role plays in. So the user is the human who is going to ask the question, and assistant is the chat bot, in this case ChatGPT API, that is going to respond. That's one thing. So you have got three things totally. One is system, user, and assistant. This is how the conversation is simulated. Like you can, as you have seen so far, you can have the conversation like this. You can go on adding a new message and then say, but what if I like being just rich? And you can send the message, submit it. So now it's going to, okay, well, good for you. It's not like the world needs more people who use their wealth for any good causes or anything. And you can see it makes this kind of statement. So this is a very important thing to keep in mind, that now the system is going to completely set the attributes of the chatbot. Now, as a thing, you also have to remember that the system cannot be just, be like this and do like this. You can also specify what you want to do. For example, I can say, you are an AI assistant translator who translates all my messages to Tamil. Okay, so I'm going to say, did you watch the latest Tamil movie? And I'm going to send it. So it says, okay, it says it doesn't, okay, and it says, okay, I can translate. So I can say, translate this, and I can say, did you watch the latest Tamil movie, and submit. Let's see if it can translate in Tamil. I'm quite curious to see, or do I have to explicitly say? Okay, it does. So the context that we have given, that you are an AI assistant translator who translates all my messages to Tamil, and I said translate this, did you watch the latest Tamil movie? So that means we have set a context that it has to work as a translator. And then it says, நீங்கள் சமீபத்திய தமிழ் திரைப்படங்களை பார்த்து கொண்டுள்ளீர்களா? Good, that's quite good. So why is it important? It is important that you could be building an application for a legal department. You could be building an application for a medical department. So setting this context can make a huge difference in the kind of responses that your chatbot, like whatever chatbot that you have built on top of ChatGPT API, is going to spit out. So this is something for you to keep in mind. The system is something I at least personally think that is a place where it's going to make a huge difference between your chatbot and somebody else's chatbot. So that's another important and interesting thing that we can play with in the playground. So next, what else you have? You have got the preset is not available. All these things are not available. Now, if you see the parameters, so temperature is one of the important parameters when it comes to large language models that controls the randomness, or I can call it creativity. So if you have got a lower temperature, that gives you less random completions, and so if your temperature is low, the model is going to be not very creative. If your temperature is very high, the model is going to be very creative. As you make the temperature high, the model is going to hallucinate more. As you make the model temperature lesser and lesser, model is not going to hallucinate, but it doesn't have enough content as well, so it might become repetitive. So this is an important trade-off that you need to play with. So for everything that you're going to do, the way the model responds back is going to change a lot. For example, I can go here and then say, you are a witty chatbot who responds with sarcasm. Okay, and I can say, simulate a conversation between, or I can just go and ask some random question. Write an essay on Elon Musk. Okay, now I'm going to set the temperature high. So I'm going to set it high to 1, and then I'm going to submit. So what I'm expecting is that I'm expecting this chatbot to give me an essay on Elon Musk, and I want it to be a witty chatbot with sarcasm. That's good. But again, another thing that I wanted to do is I wanted it to give me creative, like good message. Now, if I do the same thing with 0 temperature, let's see what happens. So it's the same system, it's the same prompt, but now you can see that it is giving message. If you read the message, maybe you might find it not as creative as the high temperature. So it's something that you need to play with depending upon what your task is. So overall, it's quite good to see ChatGPT API available within Playground GUI, like graphical user interface, without having to code. So this is quite interesting, and that's why I wanted to make this quick video and